Hello, everyone, and welcome to the new season of the Purposeful Life Show with your host, Adrian Starks. I'm excited to share some new updates of the show with you, starting with a new look, sound, and energy, as well as a variety of guests coming aboard with intriguing topics of conversation. I hope you enjoy the new level of energy that will be brought to the show. Thank you for all of your support since the very beginning in 2019. Wow, it's been 3 years already? Because of you, the Purposeful Life Show is now in the top 5% of all podcasts globally, and we aim to get it into the top 1%. Continue listening to the show and share it with others. You can also now listen to the show on my Facebook page at Adrian Starks, where you can comment in real time and communicate with me about your aha moments. Thank you again for all of your support, and let's make this one hell of a year and be purposeful about doing that. Wishing you all much love and success. Is life right now not the way you had envisioned it to be? Have your current circumstances caused you to feel like you need changes but don't know where to start? Are there voices in your head saying that you are unworthy or why even bother wanting anything better? What if you learned how to change your environment to get the picture you desire to experience? Stay tuned to our episode, The Vision Board of Our Lives. Hi, my name is Adrian Starks, and welcome to the Purposeful Life Show on the Champion Up Podcast. This podcast is for the courageous creators wanting to create a life of meaning, adventure, and fulfillment, all while helping to make the world a better place. I'm happy you're here, and if you're new to our show, make sure to give us that 5-star rating and subscribe so you don't miss out on future episodes. Also, connect with us on Facebook and Instagram at Champion Up. It is always that one idea that could be your breakthrough. It's time to step into your courage and believe the champion in you. Welcome to the Purposeful Life Show on the Champion Up Podcast. I'm your host. My name is Adrian Starks, and I'm happy to have all of you back for another amazing episode. But before we start today, make sure to go to championup.net and get those limited Tiger shirts that are going fast. Once again, championup.net to get those limited edition Tiger shirts, and they are so amazing to wear. They feel great and they look good. Today's a very exciting episode. I'm so happy to talk to this about this episode with you. It's called The Vision Board of Our Lives. Ooh, Vision Board of Our Lives. We could all use that. So we have a special guest on, and her name is Lauren Maclean. She's an intuitive designer helping women get clarity on their life path using NLP, astrology, decorating, and her energetic gifts. She's on a mission to ensure women are free from the voices in their head telling them that they are crazy and unworthy so that they can rise up and create the world that they want to live in. Ooh, welcome to the show today, Lauren.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, we are excited to have you here because when I saw your bio and I saw what you were doing, I'm like, Lauren is a courageous creator and we have to have her on this show. So I want to thank you for coming on today. And I'm excited to talk about this vision board of our lives because I feel currently that we are living in a society where no one really knows what picture they're painting for themselves in their lives or in anyone else's lives. And to have a vision board, I mean, what would that look like? You know, and so I know our guests are excited to hear that today. But before we get started today, you know, how long have you been doing this particular type of work? Because I know in the bio, I mentioned that you've been working with women and you're on a mission to help them free their voices in their head. But how long have you been doing this kind of work?
I have been doing this work specifically incorporating interior design for about 3 or 4 years. My business kind of started by accident. I was selling furniture at a Canadian retailer here, and I would be explaining to women how to design their house or how to decorate their house in the store. And I'd do diagrams and I would like explain the whole thing, and they'd be like, "Can you just come do it for me?" and so I was like, "Oh, okay, sure." And it kind of snowballed and went from there. But I've been using my energetic gifts for a lot longer than that, and I've been helping women specifically to recognize their power and recognize their truth and to get free of those voices in their head, probably since I was about 13.
Wow. Okay. Since you were 13,
yeah.
What inspired you to want to do this kind of work, of working with women?
I had a friend who had recently been through an event that felt very traumatic to her, and she was having a really hard time dealing with it. We had met through church. We went to like church conferences together, and her trauma really didn't have any place in the church. Like, it was really hard to kind of reconcile those things.
Yeah.
And so we were hanging out and we were young, and I knew that I had this ability to move energy. Mm-hmm. And at the time, I didn't have a label for it. I didn't have a process for it. I didn't have whatever. I just knew that I could help her feel better. And so we were having a sleepover, and I had said to her, okay, like, sit in front of me and let me hold your hands. And she's like, what? And I was like, just trust me. And it was through that then that I started to move the energy, and we really like cleared out her connection to that trauma. And honestly, it's
Amazing.
Been really since then that it was like, this is obviously something that I get to do in this life. Like, it's just, yeah, it's been phenomenal. And then having an extra layer now of adding in the design and the decor and the astrology and how all these different pieces fit together has been so phenomenal to discover in the last probably 3 years.
That is amazing, Lauren. And what a story. I just really love that, how you can just help someone and to remove or help them to move through their trauma. And I agree with you. There are some places that can't really touch base on it directly like that. And just to help, there's, people or groups that they can support, but they can't really get to the core of it. And what you help with is getting to the core of it. And for our guests listening today, Lauren mentioned energy. And to some of you out there who may not be up to terms on energy, or you may say, oh no, here we go, energy. And we all have energy, okay? So let's just be clear that the world is full of energy. And emotions are energy in motion. So if you're not connected to the word energy, think about emotion. What kind of emotion is blocked right now or inside of you? That's energy. But if you want to call it emotion, you can do that, but it's still energy. And so I am just floored by this conversation with Lauren today. And so you had a quote here that I want to say that really struck me, because I love quotes. And your quote here is this beautiful quote. When you open up to shifting your heart, along with shifting your decor, the whole thing feels complete. Your home is a living metaphor for your heart. That's why it's a vision board in your life. Whoa.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So your home is a vision board of your life.
Mm-hmm.
How is that?
So your home, so because we spend so much time in our home, I think you'll agree that when we do things over and over again, that pattern wears a pattern into your life. Like, that habit wears a pattern into your life. So the same way that, like, a riverbed, a river follows one track because water started going down a hill, and then over time that water kept going on this one path and carved out this riverbed, which often happens a lot in our homes as well. So the way that you physically move about your home shows up in physical ways. So the way that we walk in the front door, where we place our keys, where we take our shoes off, where we, put change our clothes, where we do all of these different things in our house, are physical manifestations of the routes that we take to process things. So to make that a little bit less esoteric and to bring it down, we can use feng shui to understand what areas of our life represent different areas in our home, that they relate to each other. And when we look at a home, the colors that we use in it, the textures that we use in it, the furniture and the accessories and all the things that we place in our home is a metaphor and represents something that's going on in our emotional body and something that's going on inside of our mindset and all that kind of thing. Excellent. For example, if somebody has a lot of really, really, really bright colors in their home, they probably feel very high energy. They probably feel a lot of emotions because the intensity of the color is very high.
Yeah.
Whereas if somebody has very light colors or neutral colors in their home, they probably feel overwhelmed by emotions and need to feel something very serene and need to feel something very calm in order to have it feel right or have it feel cozy.
Lauren, so what you're saying here is that our homes can actually, well, our homes reflect how we're feeling. And if we're
Absolutely.
able to change how our homes look in the inside, it can actually help us in how we feel in the inside as well. Like it emotionally impacts us.
Absolutely. So because the home reflects what we're feeling, we can either change what we're feeling or we can change our home, and both sides of that will spark a change overall. And so it'll help us to get into a new pattern, like how to help to change where that rut has been like run through your life, that kind of thing. Most of my clients come to me because their home is feeling incomplete. It's feeling something just doesn't feel right, and they don't understand why. And oftentimes we can change all the colors, we can change all the furniture, it's still going to feel off if we don't change the heart as well.
Wow. If we don't change the heart as well. So for our audience listening today, if you're feeling blocked or stressed right now, just think about how long you're in your home, because the average person, they spend, most of their time in their house other than going to work or building their business. You're sleeping at home for what, roughly, let's just say 7 to 9 hours, the average person at home. And then you're cooking at home, you're with friends or family at home. And so this home is actually where everything happens for you. And if you change your decor or start looking at, as Lauren would say, how the decor can impact you and the space in the home, then think about how better your life could be on a term of day-to-day living. Lauren, so what are some steps, or in your words, external transformational things that our audience can begin doing today? Like if they say, okay, I hear what you're saying, Lauren, but how can I start? Where do I
absolutely.
start?
Absolutely. So many people come to me and they're like, oh, I love it when things look nice, but I have no idea how to make that happen. That's just not my thing. And so the important part of changing your decor or changing your feelings or starting a change in your life is to keep what feels amazing and to get rid of what feels kind of icky or slow. So the important thing to start is to look at, like, if you're listening to this podcast, you're probably sitting in a car driving, or you're sitting in your house, or you're washing the dishes, or you're doing something with it, right? So wherever you're at in your home, just literally pause and take a look, like a physical look around the room. And I want you to let your eyes kind of just land on any of the objects in your room. Any pattern, doesn't matter, there's no preference, and feel into that object. So if you, I'm looking at a book. If that book makes me feel nothing, then that's fine. I just keep looking at different objects until something feels like, and I'm like, I don't know about that. You kind of get that kind of stuck, kind of like wishy-washy feeling, and take a minute with that. And if that object, I know this sounds contrived and people make fun of me for it, but it's like, if that object doesn't bring you joy, you will feel it and you will know it. And maybe it's time to rehome that object. Maybe it's time to find a new space for it. And sometimes you just have to move it to a different area of your home where it feels more aligned. And so that would be the place where I would start, is clearing out anything that doesn't feel 100% awesome. And if you think that it's a maybe just put it in a different spot in your home for now to start with.
I love that instruction, Lauren. What an amazing way to start clearing our spaces in our lives, because I could do that myself too. I've had times where I may feel a bit stressed or even rushed, or there's not enough space for me. Like there's too much going on my day-to-day basis. But when I start clearing things away, in my room or my living room or my kitchen, I feel like, whoa, now I feel much better. And I love what you're saying about putting away the thing that makes us feel icky and keeping the things that actually make us feel good. So for our audience today, what actually makes you feel good in your home? And of course, some of you are going to say everything, because a lot of us don't want to get rid of anything. We want to keep everything where it is. But this is what part of the exercise is letting go of what doesn't serve you so that you can begin to notice what does. And so, Lauren, how has this allowed you? This type of method that you've been teaching so many people that is helping to shift their lives, how has this allowed you to live your best life? What has it done for you?
Absolutely. This method has allowed me to really get comfortable with change. This time
Yes.
last year, I had just broken up with my fiance of 5 years. We had a house and a life and a dog and everything together. And it was time for me to change. And using this method, um, like I went into a new home. I went into a new place. I had to get comfortable with everything, and I had a lot of baggage, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, that I had to work through. And so, knowing this method of my home is reflecting things back to me, and I am reflecting things into my home, um, it would let me. It would show me different areas I still had to heal. A year, even a year later, right when I was moving out of my place just a couple weeks ago. I'm in a new place now since the breakup, and it was like as I was packing, I'm like, oh wow, like these objects hold so much emotion with this. Like, why do they still hold this emotion?
Mm-hmm.
Why is this still triggering me? Why is this still doing this? And I'm looking at like, like a old box of papers, right? Like it's not something that's in a decor sense being so impactful, but it's super impactful to me. And then this method allows me to know the connection and to dive into it and to explore it.
I love it. And the fact that you mentioned about how to deal with change, that seems to be a huge challenge for a lot of people across the planet. Because we all know that change is everywhere, change is inevitable, but when change happens unexpectedly or not the way you had planned, that's a whole different story. And I know all about that too as well, how we deal with change and when it can shift your path. But the key, like you said, Lauren, is finding something or a way of dealing with the change. And that is why you are a courageous creator and you're helping so many other people do the same. Because change is going to happen, but we can also be a part of our own changes, in which you mentioned with the environment and changing our energy, changing, where we stay as far as, inside of our homes, where our locations are, so impactful. And so, Lauren, what would you like these amazing women that are listening to you this morning? And there are a lot of them out there. They're going to be so inspired by you. And the men too. Okay, let's not leave the men out.
Yeah.
If the men are listening, great. But what would you like the women and men listening today to know about themselves? Like, what would you like them to say, if you don't want to look in the mirror at yourself right now, this is what you should know about you?
I want every person to know that they do have the ability to know what they like, what they don't like, and what looks good. People think that they need to have all like these years of design school and they need to have all of this very technical knowledge, and that it's really hard to do design. It's really hard to make things look good. And the truth is that it's really not, because as Jonathan Adler said, when you find pieces that you love, they will always find their place. And that's true in your heart, and that's true in your home. And I think that I would want all people to know that they have that ability to find a piece they love of themselves, of their furniture, of their anything like that, and it will find its place because they feel that.
Oh, can you repeat that one more time? That was a light bulb moment for me, the aha moment. You mentioned that if there's pieces that we love, they will find their place. Is that what you said?
They will all, yeah. It's Jonathan Adler said that, who's a famous interior designer, that when you find pieces that you love and when you buy pieces that you love, they will always find their place. Even if it doesn't seem like from a design perspective it makes sense, like if you're pairing like a red chair with like a green carpet, by the design rules that might not make sense immediately, but over time there will be other things that come in, because in design, as I found with spirituality as well, nothing exists in a vacuum. Not everything relates to everything else. And there's always a connection between the different items of furniture, between the different items of decor, between different lessons that you're working through. They're always connected. And so there's always something that will draw that into the fold, and that will make the room seem whole, and will make yourself feel whole because of it, because you love it.
Excellent. Wow. So I am just writing down some notes here, because I'm going to start using what you're teaching me today to start clearing some things out of my life and to make sure I can get some good energy going on with myself. in your bio that I mentioned earlier, a wonderful bio, by the way.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You talked about helping women get these voices out of their head of being, that they're crazy or unworthy. And I certainly can concur with that, because there are times in my life where I felt very unworthy. But you're helping them to rise up and create the world they want to live in. Do you find that when you work with people who are going through some kind of traumatic incident in their life, or some struggle or some challenge, that they may put up some resistance to wanting to create that change and thinking that things should change first before they change? Do you find that resistance with some people?
Oh my gosh, absolutely. Absolutely. That resistance is very real. And I think I've specifically used the words that I want every woman to not feel crazy, because I genuinely feel that women are told that often. That is like that old witch wound that we all carry with us, right? Is that, when a woman taps into that, her inner knowing and her intuition, she might make some choices that from a logical perspective seem a little bit weird, but she's feeling into them, and she knows for herself that that is what's important. And I think that it is critical for all women and men to understand that notion of making a decision from that point. And I think that work of, yes, when somebody's going through a big life change, people crave security, and they feel like until they get security, they can't solidify the change. And that once, I think what was a common thread with my clients is that when they will know that they are okay when they feel secure, and they can't feel secure when things are changing. And so they reach out, and they're wanting, and it's funny how this manifests in the home, because when their life is changing, they just need to get the decor set. The decor just needs to be done. The house just needs to be finished. It just needs to feel cozy. Nothing's feeling cozy. Why isn't it feeling cozy? And it's because they're not used to coping with the change. And so I think as you unravel a little bit of that and dive into that, and that's where working with the heart in tandem with working with the home becomes really important. And I think that enables that. It allows you to be okay without the feeling of that security that you're used to. I think it's just finding a different sense of security that's important in that.
That's so true. And go back to the vision board of our lives, to our audience here today. We've been talking about changing the decor in your home and changing that internal aspect of your life. This is the vision board, because when you're creating something intentionally, like you're creating the change, that's something that's going to show up elsewhere in your life. I know we've heard this term of people that say, it's like a funny term, but if you want more clothes, then you're going to have to clear out your closet. If your closet's full of clothes, and so.
Yes, and with like the vision board, so if somebody's going through a life change, like you might have had the same furniture for 20 years, and now there's an event, like your kid is moving out of home, and that furniture doesn't feel right anymore, because your home is manifesting that change, right? And so they're happening at the same simultaneously. So when your kid is moving out and you're going through this big life change, then it's time to get new furniture, because your home is mirroring that change. And so you can use that energy, and you can use that timing, and you can use that knowledge to make that happen intentionally, instead of just reacting and being like, this doesn't feel right. How do I make it feel right?
Yeah, that's what most people do.
Yeah, totally. It totally is.
Right. Wow. So that's the vision board of our lives when we're initiating the change. We're saying that, okay, things are changing, but what can I change? What pieces can I hold on to, can I use, and what pieces need to be put away? And this is the shifting of our vision. Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
And when we're bringing in new energy as well, it's not necessarily what do I put away or what do I change. It's what can I put my attention on, and what can I add love into in order to bring in new energy. And so sometimes, or to bring in something new into my life, like we often, want a promotion, or we want a better job, or that kind of thing. But like the front door is falling off its hinges, and like there's so much clutter on your front table that you can't even see the table anymore. And things like that are important. And it's exactly like you said, like if you want more clothes, clean up the closet. If you want more clear direction in your life, clean away your front door. and clean that hole away, put a new front doormat there, like, and that's using the principles of feng shui. Like it's quite literal sometimes, like that.
Love it. I love it. So Lauren, I have a question for you regarding a couple of things here, but first let's start with this question. What are the 3 things that matter most to you currently right now in life? I know that these things shift as we go through different experiences, but what 3 things matter most to you right now?
Like in my own personal development?
Yes. Or even your personal life. Like what matters most to you? Is it relationships, your friendships? Is it taking care of yourself? What matters most to you? What 3 things?
What matters most to me right now is not hiding and
Good.
standing in my full authentic power and communicating from my whole being.
Wow.
That is the most important thing to me right now. What else is important to me is I'm really investing my energy into setting intentional boundaries with my friends and family and coworkers and all that to make sure that I am not only looking after myself, but being a responsible steward to my community. That's really important to me. And what else is important to me is...
I think those 2 things those 2 things are major, though. I love what you just said, the first 2. So
yeah. I mean, but the thing that I'm playing with is my business. That's where I get to have fun and play. And I was doing some work last night and literally ended up just like bouncing around the house afterwards. I just have so much energy to have. I could not believe how much the work got me fired up. And I'm so excited about that.
And that's what it is when you're doing what you love to do, or when you're doing things out of the heart. It comes from the heart first to help people. That's where that energy comes from. And I love it. I feel the same way too, Lauren. So Lauren, how can our guests proceed to reach out to you for help and to even connect with you down the road here?
Yeah, absolutely. I am probably the most active on Instagram. My handle is Heart and Haven, at Heart and Haven. So it's heart.and.haven is my Instagram handle. I'm always hanging out there. I'm always like giving out insights there. I love to talk about how this all works there. I also have my website, heartandhaven.co. I will have a blog coming up there later this summer with just more expanded wisdom into how this interacts in your life. And those are probably the 2 best places to reach out to me.
Excellent. And now we have come to the point of the show that everyone waits for. I call this the Courageous Creator question.
Okay.
And only our courageous creators can answer these. So Lauren, what does living a good life mean to you? And what does it look like, living a good life?
Living a good life, first off, I'm an Aquarius, so the whole good label just like gets my back up. I know that I'm doing good in my life when I feel my flow and when I go with the flow, if you will. But I mean that in a very deep sense. I mean that I know I'm living a good life when the work that I do makes me want to scream and cry and do the happy dance. Like that is how I know. That's what it looks like, is when I'm in the middle of something or I can't I'm just like buzzing with energy. That's how I know. It happens to me at work. It happens to me with friends, all that kind of thing. It just, I feel when I'm doing a good life with every cell in my body.
Very good. Well, that is it. And that is why I wanted you on the show, because you just mentioned here that living a good life is doing what you love to do. And just for our guest here, like Lauren just mentioned, a lot of times when we say the word good, good is a good terminology, but however, not everything happens very good or in a good way to us. And with life, we have challenges. But what I mean by the good life is, what would it be like for you to live a life that brings you more excitement, more happiness, more smiles? And today the show was about the vision board of your life and how you can start clearing those spaces in your life so that you can start bringing things or having a pathway of things coming in your life that it can help you to feel better and help you to feel happier. And if you're going through changes right now, if you're going through something that's challenging to you, I encourage you to reach out to Lauren, because she really helps a lot of people get through these transitions in their life, because we all have them and we all get stuck and we need that help. So reach out to Lauren, go to her website, go to her social media, and to get these gold nuggets of wisdom from her, and to also just reach out if you have any questions as well. Lauren, I want to thank you so much for being on our show today. It has been an absolute pleasure.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for having me. This has been a lot of fun.
I've had fun too. Well, thank you so much, Lauren. And to our guests, remember, what is the vision board of your life right now? What does it look like? Until then, I encourage you all to be that courageous creator in your life. This is the Purposeful Life Show on the Champion Up Podcast with myself, Adrian Starks, and thank you for listening. If you've enjoyed our podcast today, don't forget to give us that 5-star rating and subscribe to the show so you don't miss out on the powerful life-changing content on future episodes. Also, make sure to go to championup.net for even more life-changing content. Until then, I encourage you to be the courageous creator in your life.